Reflections of Purpose.
Hello, thanks so much for joining us. It's Twisted Threads. My name is Karen Sims. I'm owner of Twisted Threads and Master Life Coach. Yes, I'm so glad that you were able to join us. This is our segment for Reflections of Purpose. And so as you come and join us, we always remind you if there's something that you hear that's impactful to you, remember to like and share the video. Visit us on social media pages, and also remember to subscribe to our Twisted Threads YouTube channel. So, as always, we're getting right into it. Reflections of Purpose. Today's topic, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of? And I say it twice. I love to say my topics more than once because it's kind of a thing. Because I took some time to pick out these topics. But when we think about being afraid, it always pushes us back to fear. What is fear? And we've got a lot of different definitions for what fear is and how can you overcome it. There are many courses. People spend millions of dollars trying to overcome fear. And a lot of times we got to understand that, well, today you're probably going to get some good stuff for free. The first thing in overcoming fear is identifying, what are you afraid of? And sometimes we've got things in our lives that we should really be afraid of. But when we think about the acronym of fear, fear stands for false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. Now that's important when we think about how do we move around things. Well, if we understand that most oftentimes, fear is fabricated in our mind first. Fabricated in our mind first. When we understand that, then we've got an opportunity to think about, so how do we change the way that we think? How do we change the way that we view things? And a lot of the Reflections of Purpose is all geared towards us changing our minds about ourselves, changing our minds about our communities, about our impact in our families and our lives. Why? Because sometimes you just got to get in front of the mirror and be like, I'm dope. And I know the world may not be ready for this, but I can't be afraid of my dopeness. How about that? Like, that's a line right there. I am dope. And we get a shirt that says that so that we can celebrate what it is. We celebrate what are we afraid of. And I say celebrate the things that you're afraid of. I'm afraid of spiders. I'm afraid of bugs that crawl in my house. One, I'm afraid because I don't want nobody in my house who don't pay rent. If you do not pay to stay here, odds are you ain't going to be here long. Now, you're going to get out one way or another. You may not like the way that our evacuation plan works, but the people who pay rent will make sure to get re-entry without any issues. So, false evidence appearing real. When you think about the things that you are afraid of, some people are afraid of relationships. Some people are afraid to love again. Some people are afraid of success. Think about that. Afraid of success. Not afraid of failure. There are many people in the world who say, I'm afraid to fail. Okay, that's real. But what if you were secured a win? What if you were secured a spot in the championship? Would you then be afraid to win? Would you see yourself as qualified for the next big thing that's coming in your life? Would you be qualified? Like I say to people, and this has been for a long time, I'm an author. And scripturally, we're told, speak those things as they are until they are. Like you can literally speak a new existence into your life by the positive words that you say. Now, you can also speak a new existence in your life by the negative things you say. So it's all about what your perspective is and how you get true to you. So being real with yourself, being honest, allows you to make that list in your mind to say, what am I afraid of? What are you afraid of? Are you afraid of the dark? Are you afraid of the boogie monster? Are you afraid of what success will bring? Are you afraid of getting money? Some people are afraid of money because some of us have been taught money is the root of all evil. You know, my dad and I, we have conversations because he's like, and I have a couple of properties and there were people in the properties and he's like, you shouldn't charge family rent. And I said, that's the mindset that keep families broke. If you living in something with my name on it, we gonna have a cash transaction. Why? Because cash transactions are my love language. You know, it's not one of the listed five that Gary Chapman listed, but it's a real thing. And so me being transparent with myself, I have to understand that there are times where I'm afraid of success. And what does that mean for you? When you're afraid of success, sometimes I'm afraid that they're going to find out that I may not be as qualified as they think I am. I'm afraid that if they find out some version of my story, of my testimony, they'll disqualify me themselves, or they'll think that I'm not as good, or, you know, that spirit of comparison comes around, and that is a killer. Most times we don't talk about the negative impact that the spirit of comparison brings to us. So if I say, well, she got a house, I didn't get a house, his house is bigger than mine, his car is more fly, and all of those things. Having those moments of comparison diminishes your thought on yourself. It diminishes your win. Well, I won, but he won bigger. Doesn't matter. If you're looking and seeing yourself and you're viewing yourself as a winner, fear will still be there, but you get the opportunity to remove the worry about what comes after the success. What comes after me stepping over this smaller box of fear, stepping over this false evidence appearing real? What if I step on it and squash it like those spiders I told you I don't really like? There's another area of existence that happens after that. And you get to understand that once you remove the worry, once you're honest with yourself, you also are able to find happiness in your fear. I know it sounds crazy, but when you find happiness in your fear, you get to laugh about it in a way that it does not arrest you in your place. Most people, when they get afraid of something, they stiff up. They no longer can be able to move. It's like, oh my goodness, there's a bug. Oh, nothing else can happen. Guess what? What if you found happiness in your fear? Odds are that bug ain't gonna outrun me, because whatever way the spider is going, number one, I'm going the other way. Now we'll talk about bee stings and things of that nature. That's something, you know, I'm afraid to get stung by a bee because I don't like to be hurt. But this past summer, I got stung by a bee. You know what? One of us survived. That's all I got to say on that. It was a bad experience and it stuck with me, and my arm swelled, and it was, you know, I got the little bee sting thing out of me, and my arm was like fat like Vespuccia for like 2 weeks. But that bee, that was his last moment of life. I still have more life to live. And sometimes we got to understand that that's how fear arrests us. That when you slap that spirit of fear off of you, guess what? You still get to survive. You still get to push forward. Finding happiness in your fear gives you an opportunity to understand that even though you're afraid of it, even though you've got a trepidation about moving forward, your feet are still moving. You're still winning. You're still being able to celebrate the best parts of you, the best parts of your family. Maybe you're afraid of being a new parent, afraid of a new position or a new job. Whatever it is, you can put it to the side. And you know what? When all else fails and the fear still exists, do it scared. That's right. The whole purpose of this is not just to identify what it is that you're afraid of, but understanding that you got to push past that fear, to make that commitment to yourself to say, even when I'm scared, I'm going to do it. I'll do it scared. I started the launch of a new business. I started studying for being a life coach. I did it scared. It's like, who's going to listen to me? Well, I knew people was going to listen to me because that was a whole nother thing. And we'll talk about the professional assessments that I had. But there were certain things that it was like, well, I don't really want to do that. But the thing is this. There's so many things in my life that I've experienced that were things to really be afraid of. And I'm sure that if you review on your side, you'll see that there are some things that you've marked and labeled as I'm afraid, where they didn't even have the power to do anything from you. Now, thankfully, that bee that died, he died of attempted murder because he didn't know whether his bee sting was going to kill me. So I said, that's attempted murder. He tried to kill me. He didn't know whether that sting was going to kill me. Imagine that you've got things in your life that you know that even you doing it afraid, you're guaranteed to win. Move forward in your day. And as you think about what homework do you take from this, make a list of the things that you're afraid of so that you can confront them daily and figure out a strategy behind how do you move past your fear and move forward into success. Now, a person like me, when I think about the things that I could really be afraid of, being afraid of success no longer is a fear for me because I understand it can't kill me. You know, they always say that old age adage that says what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Now, I don't know what that bee sting did for me. It said made me mad, but I know when the bees come, when I see a hive, I'm spraying it. I know more about bees now than I ever did before. Why? Because that bee tried to kill me. You got to think of the things that you're afraid of and figure out how do you overcome it? How do you become bigger and greater and have a strategy to get you past that bee sting? Look, y'all going to hear about that bee sting for a while because I was absolutely mad about that bee and him you trying to get this sweet juice. Anyway, when all else fails, do it scared. What are you afraid of? Speak it, confront it. And it's not speaking it so that it's a negative thing, but speak it until you turn positivity in it and have happiness in it. As always, if there's something that you've heard that was impactful, like, share the video. We need to get these messages out because people need to know. We need to confront the things that we're afraid of, but greatness is before us and we got to do it together. You're part of the Twisted Thread family, part of my Twisted Thread squad. I appreciate you coming on and pressing play every single time you do. Make it a great and amazing day on purpose. We'll see you real soon.
Reflections of Purpose.